for today's podcast, uh, we'll talk about certain random things about technology and what's going on in the market. Well, something to talk about is NFT, which is non-fungible token. It's becoming a big phenomenon amongst youngsters and a lot of technology enthusiastic. Uh, it's not a relatively newer concept, but it's becoming very popular nowadays with Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey selling his first tweet for $2.3 million. Elon Musk is also supporting this NFT wave. A lot of people are talking about NFT, and that's what today we are going to talk about. I think Leo is explaining what NFT are. So, yeah, hi Leo, what's up? And
How's it
what are
going?
NFTs?
So NFTs are non-fungible tokens. So the idea is, with Bitcoin, you want everything to be the same. You want it to be fungible. One Bitcoin is exactly the same as any other Bitcoin. NFTs are kind of the other side of blockchain. So it's saying that, one NFT is not equal to any other NFT. It's special to itself. So it's being used right now in the art community to say that to show digital ownership of a property. So instead of owning art that you put on your wall, you can buy ownership of a piece of digital content, and you become the owner of that on public record, the blockchain.
Okay, got it. Got it. But I think a lot of it is going in the art and cards, and I think tweets, etc. So, I mean, art and all, I can figure it out because art is a particular unique creation. But what about cards? Like, because certain cards are repetitive in nature. So, how can you really tell who is the owner of that particular card? Because let's say there are 10 different super edition cards of baseball. How can you say that it is not repeatable in nature?
So, typically it's marked in some way, right? That's unique to that specific card. So the digital form is an NFT. It's a digital signature on public record. And really where that comes in is any future sales. So an NFT for, like, if a baseball card, let's say you get the baseball card out of the pack and you figure out that you got lucky and it's one worth $10,000, so you sell it for $10,000, but you have an NFT on there that would track any future sales. So that means if you sell it for $10,000 and the person you sold it to ends up selling it for $100,000, typically you'll end up getting a residual part of that back in future sales. That's how it's being used now. So with NFTs, there's a lot of speculation that they're collector's items now, but they're going to be worth more in the future. So it's a very speculative process that people are going through right now, and there's a lot of fear that it's going to be a giant bubble that I think I saw that people are already starting to lose money on because they started riding the wave as it's hot, and then
So a lot of it, what you're saying is essentially because they're scarce, people are betting crazy to acquire them, right? And I think I read a tweet about someone that being scarce doesn't mean it's valuable, because he made a joke about it. Like, my dog poops a particular amount every day. It's scarce, but that doesn't mean it's valuable, and I cannot convert that into an NFT. I think paintings, etc., is very cool. Uh, I mean, paintings are in itself scarce and they are very unique in nature. I don't know why they are converting it into NFT just for the sake of it, but uh, but other things I don't really believe. Like everyone's creating everyone's own. Like I recently I saw that someone created a song and put it on a NFT just because it's cool, and now it's getting sold for a couple of $1,000, etc. So why is that?
So again, right now, I think it's mostly a fad. So everybody is trying to figure out what all they can, create an NFT out of. It became popular, so it's the next meme stock, if you will. It's very much, I think, the same market forces in effect there. So what's going to happen is it'll kind of die out for a while. Because the novelty will wear off and people will panic and sell a bunch of stuff, and a bunch of people will lose money on it because they're not putting a lot of thought into what they're buying. But eventually, I think there's a lot of long-term value there. But it's not just NFTs. I think the real value is going to be DAOs, so decentralized autonomous organizations. So for that, that's kind of the next level to NFTs. So that's going to be a wrapper around multiple NFTs, and pretty much what it can do is it can create like essentially a company that has all sorts of rules in place, all governed by smart contracts on the blockchain that facilitate like managing the various business aspects. So I predict what we're going to eventually see is that employers are really just going to be all DAOs, because it's going to be fair, it's going to be transparent. There's not going to be able to be bad actors kind of lurking in the shadows, because the rules will all be enforced by code and publicly viewable on the blockchain.
I agree. I think it's a cool concept. I think that's a regulatory aspect of it. It will be cool if we see such kind of syndicates. Only we can see it in movies, but yeah, it's a cool concept.
Well,
So
I thought
that's
about trying to build one, but it would require winning a SAS. So there's a contest on Twitter right now, or it's through
yeah,
the Hustle newsletter. That so anybody who, like, the person who can get the most signups through their affiliate link, they're going to give you a SAS off of MicroAcquire and work with you. So I thought that would be interesting. Like, it's kind of a thought experiment. I was thinking about doing it to where any social media followers who would share the site, we could put together into a DAO and create that to manage the SaaS offering, because I thought it was an interesting use case for that, because obviously, like, people sharing my link for me, like, there's not a lot in it for them, right? So how do you incentivize that? And one way is potentially saying like, hey, if you do this, we can create this ownership group around it, so that everybody involved in the process of winning it would be one. So I don't think that's going to necessarily take off, but it was an idea that I was throwing around as some potential use case for a DAO.
mm, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Hope to see how that goes.